Boys, thanks for coming in today. Mate,
No.
I guess I got to know about you guys. It was funny, I interviewed Candace last week, and then she goes, mate, I've got these unbelievable guys that are doing the cold baths. I go, fucking hell, man. I just went home to relax a bit, Candace. Come back, and then we've got freezeyourselfhere.com.au. But before that, like my mate James was telling me about Trent and what you guys are doing. And when you sent me the overview of your vision, along with obviously what Jake's doing with you, and understanding your backstory before you guys even got here. And, you know, I went through your bios, you know, I spoke to Jake, and Jake was talking about, you know, how you knew each other at 17, obviously playing junior footy for Saints, but you didn't like each other. You didn't like each other. Who was the smartest out of the two?
I said before, I was probably very confident in myself and cocky, and it probably rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And Trent was sort of the bigger guy that was well known down at in the Illawarra, and I sort of just come in. So there was that little bit of friction at the start. But as I said, as the years went on and we trained together and played footy together, we've pretty much been inseparable since 18. So
I also, like now being an adult, and you can look back at it, the friendship and relationship that we had, and we still do. It's the yin and yang effect. I think I was envious of, so when we were in SG Ball under 16, 17s, I remember being in the gym training with the under 16s, the Steelers team, and I looked out the window and Jake was training Premier League, like that close to playing NRL at 17. And I was envious of it because I never made junior reps, grew up in Sydney, got cut from all the South teams, worked my ass off.
Did you?
Old school training with my old man. I was training like a first grader as a kid, so working my ass off and never got anywhere with it until I made that team. And I'm looking out there and I'm like, how the fuck am I working this hard and I'm here and he's out there? So it was an envious relationship. I thought he was our halfback at the time because he was skin and bones.
yeah.
What position?
So I played.
Back row?
I was a 6 all through my teenage years, and then I eventually found my way into 13 just because some coaches, I liked the way that I sort of defended and thought I'd be a bit more of an asset in the middle, and then I sort of filled out a little bit and I was always a left-hand side field player, so I ended up playing left back row all through juniors, played some grade in the left back row, but then I sort of just formed into a utility as my career sort of went on, just which I thought benefited me tremendously because you got all these skills, you know, you can sort of, there's an injury to the 9, to the back row, to, you know, I was sort of just a Mr. Fill in the starting team at times if I wasn't in there and just come off the bench. And I loved those 2-3 years at the Dragons at the back end of my first grade career where I was able to come in and do that.
What you 2000? When did you finish?
I finished up at the Dragons 2017.
2017.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
I don't think he gives himself enough credit.
Yeah.
To be honest, and this is our.
Because you played 52 games.
Yeah,
he
played for City, and this is the pendulum swift and the yin and yang effect with us.
Yeah, I've
as
seen that
mates.
City one too.
Yeah, and he's probably the best back row I've ever played with, coming through the grades. But it was the life outside of the game that shifted how far the career could go. And I learn, and I always do, I learn a lot from the lessons he's been through with life. Even when we were playing footy, the pendulum shift. Like I did everything to a T, like extras, everything. Like that was conditioning me as a kid. And he was reckless, right? And as we got to know each other growing up, it wasn't reckless with his, it was the conditioning, it was stuff going on outside of footy. So when I better understood that, the respect and the bond grew just as much because I had it on a different side of the fence. So it was, he learnt from me and then I learnt from him to relax a bit and enjoy what you're doing and don't take it too serious, and the relationship just continued like that. We also love to have fun, take the piss, muck around, live life the way it should be lived, and I think that gets us in trouble sometimes. We speak our mind, we speak our truth.
That's fine speaking your truth, but like let me ask you this: like when you were playing, when you look at the best sports people, right? Their outside life, they almost can shut off, like, you know, like whether it's family problems and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your outside life, your environment made it hard for you to do the extras?
Yep.
Like, were you a guy that would go out and drink and all that kind of stuff?
So to give you a story, so my parents broke up in front of me when I was 10. Didn't know what was going on. So that rattled me for 20 years of my life. You know, no one knew this stuff. Some things happened to me and I put myself in some unsafe and vulnerable situations through my teenage years. But I was fortunate enough that I had footy to be able to express. I was very timid. I'm still working through this today to be able to allow people in, trust people, all that sort of stuff. And that reflected in the way I lived my life. Like at training, I wasn't the best trainer, but I knew how to get myself through what I needed to. I was never the fastest, the strongest, whatever, but I put myself in a position to be there, which was such a feat in itself from where, you know, I had come from. But I'm very fortunate for those lessons because now it's helped me in my life, in the later stages of my life, to just work through myself. Like, as it lead back to, I went out every weekend. I would train, play, go out, because that's what I chose to do. And the more self-work I've done, I only played footy because it got me away from where I was. It was my ticket out of there. So I never bought into the train as hard as you can get. It was just like, I'm here now, so I'll just do it. And that ended up getting me flicked out the back door when I was 22. Ended up working in a dog food factory. So I had a 2-year deal ripped up that I'd worked so hard for because of my off-field antics, which I drank. I tested positive for cocaine when I was 22. So I had a million chances, millions. But I just thought people didn't like me. So I was like, well, fuck everyone. But it was only me. So I went and worked at a dog food factory for $16.50 an hour for 2 years, played at Redcliffe. Best thing I ever did. Come back to the Dragons and, you know, played 2 full seasons, and then we can talk about this later, the sort of business side of rugby league, which rattled me because I was very naive to it.
So you're talking the business side is your managers, your contracts,
money,
the
way that the top 30 shifts, all that sort of stuff.
So this is a good segue. So I talked to a lot of rugby league managers, and you know I had Hopper on here, and he fucking hates them. But I think so. Like I'm good mates with Torrance Smith. Obviously, there's good ones out there too, right?
There is. See, you need them to an extent. I don't believe in the percentages that they're charging athletes, and a lot of them promise you the world and give you the atlas, right? I believe managers need to sort of be in there, but they also don't. I think, and what we're creating with the Lost Boys too is more around advising these athletes. That people have got to understand, they're grown men and women in these sports, right? And we could talk about this for a long time, right? Because
we might need a part two.
Yeah, because you got to break it right down, right? So when a kid comes into the rugby league system, like junior footy, Mascot Jets, Shiba Sharks, the system, right? So they play for the love of the game, right? They're watching their idols on the screen. They want to get to that stage. That's their full focus. So when you're focused on anything in life, you're barreled in. The blinkers are on. You just want to get there. You want to dedicate 100% to getting to that goal, right? And what you sacrifice with doing that is the real world, because you're locked in. So when you're a 16-year-old and you're coming into sort of rep footy, these managers come out of the woodworks, right? Because there's money to be made. It's a product, right? So these 16-year-olds, they're still kids, right? Now, rugby league, let's just talk about rugby league. It's a game of traumatised kids, pretty much, from the areas that rugby league are around. Like, you've got rugby union, who are usually classified as the college students, right? Rugby league's for you, it's a demographic behind it, right? So the parents of these kids are hard workers in the community, right? And their main focus is just providing for the kid. So this 16-year-old is coming into a system he has no clue about, right? The business of the game, right? And the parents have no clue of the business of the game. They just want their kid to succeed. They want to do everything to get them there, right? But the managers, they know the business side of it, right? They know they've been in there for years, right? The ones that are like stable in that industry have been there since Joey and all that were playing, right? So they know all the ins and outs. So they grab this kid at 16-year-old, they sign him for 4 years at 7%, right? Or they give him a few free pairs of boots, right, to get them in the door, to get them all happy and giddy, right? Now once they're in, and remember the 16-year-old wants to play first grade, so he's locked in, so he's working his ass off to get there. Now a manager is supposed to manage a person. That's the name, a manager, right? That's finances, that's housing, investments,
off-field contracts,
relationships, endorsements, sponsorships, right? That's what they're supposed to do, right? But once this 16-year-old becomes a Joey Manu, Sonny Bill Williams, because they pick they've got a lot to pick from, right? It's a cattle system. So they pick a nugget, right? That kid signs for they're signing $600,000 to $800,000 deals these days. What's 7% of that? It's nearly what, $100,000?
Well, 10%.
What's that?
I'm not.
About
30, 40.
That's right.
Something like that.
30, 40 grand.
So they get 6 of those in their cattle.
Yeah.
They don't have to work. They don't have to do. They actually don't have to do anything because the contract's signed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they don't have to work as hard to structure them and do what they actually should be doing for these kids.
Where they got to invest their money. Not only that, like for instance, let's make sure this is what a good career looks like. This is what a bad career looks like. Let's make sure you get the right people helping you out, especially from a rehab perspective. Yeah. But man, I don't want you to go out and drink and take cocaine because the culture is built on that, right? So there's
and you say to them,
do they do that? Do they do that? Do they go, listen, these are the potholes?
You go.
Yeah. With that, right? You can say something to someone. It doesn't mean they have to listen to you. You know what I mean? Like I can talk about this experience I had, and everyone looking back now when I've done the self work, everyone was trying to help me.
Yeah.
But I took it as don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Because I never had my dad there, and I was a bit of a, I was naughty, but I was learning on the go. I was just trying to get by, you know what I mean? So I would take most things personal, and I'd be like, as I've sort of grown, and I'm sober now in my 4th year of sobriety, I look back and I'm like, man, if I had a lens that people were trying to help me, so many things would be different. So I take that now and I'm like, rightio, when people talk, it's my job to listen. If it resonates with me, there's a constructive conversation I have. If it doesn't resonate with me, then that's my choice to not listen to that person anymore. That's just how I function now.
Let me ask you a question. So, say I'm your manager. What could I have done differently with you during that time where you weren't listening to anyone? What would have resonated with you?
Do you know what?
Have you ever thought about that?
I have, right? The managers I did have, I understand now what they were doing. That's their business. That's how they feed their kids. So I can't take that personal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that side of it there. But
me as Jake Marketo, I could have been a better human being.
Yeah.
I could have taken on board some of their stuff. And at times in my career, I did. There was times where a couple of weeks I didn't. Like in 2015, when I first got my second opportunity to come back to the club at the Dragons, we were on top of the table for half the year. Then we got smashed by injuries, made the finals for the first time, got done in Golden Point by the Bulldogs. That year, I was as direct and as professional as I possibly could have been. Now, was I the best? Like no chance.
Yeah.
But I knew what I could and couldn't do from what I did in the past. So I was starting to take information on, but then also I had a lot of things that were still boiling up inside me that I hadn't dealt with. So eventually it sort of just crept back in.
Interesting.
A lot of, to answer that question, could a manager help with these situations, right? My answer to that is, unless you've been there and done it, then no.
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So good answer.
No, 100%.
So
you're going to listen to the senior players.
I listened to the Gypsy, the Nighty podcast, right? And he talked about Bennett and why Bennett's the best coach, right?
Yeah.
Because he gets on the personality. He caters to the person, right? Because he's been in the system and done it for a very long time. Played the game. He's seen it all, right? Managers need to cater to each individual.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Two totally different spectrums at that age, right? As an athlete, right, like I said at the start, was you have a goal. They're goal-orientated human beings.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you cater to an athlete when it comes to investing, when it comes to outside stuff, right? Okay, you're on 800 grand. You could own one property in 5 years if you do this. I'll structure you this way. We'll break it down like this. In 5 or 3 years' time, you will have this paid completely off. You will own this property. And then so instead of you're actually teaching them with goal orientated.
Yes.
Right? So, all right, if I do this, you're going to structure it like this. If I save all that, I'm going to have this house. It's a physical, right? So athletes, they're physical. They like to, they're in the physical, right? If I have this physical object paid off, if I do all these things, I get to own this. I set my whole family up. I can do that. Okay. What can I do next? How do I? Then you're open. Then you've learned about that.
Because that's what, with the Lost Boys as an example, that's our goal. So if you're here, and what Trent's saying, to have your house here, we allow you to have all this information to reach the goal. Because as you're saying, athletes, you need to be fitter, you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, how do I do that? We're going to do this, we're going to do this. So
and you'd be perfect like this.
Structure, you know what I mean?
Right?
Like,
it's, all right, I'll show you how to do it. You got to do it like this. You don't know how to do that, but I do. So I'll this is how we do it, right? You don't need to worry about it because I'm your manager.
Yeah. So Jake, if your manager at that time had done that and sort of planned it out for you to give you that vision, like a trainer would, or say Wayne Bennett, focus on you, do you think that would have changed?
I can honestly tell you right now, no. My mindset. So
because of what you dealt with, the trauma from before
and you can't
that.
save it. You can't
save
force
everyone.
You can take a horse to water.
With it, right? And don't get me wrong, there was people. But I had my dad talking to me. It wasn't like no one was. People were seeing what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Because you were dealing with other things.
It was trauma.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was unaccountable, right? I wouldn't listen. I was highly emotional. I was always irregulated. So I was always in a state of fight or flight. I was trying to survive. And the most comfortable was when I was at training. But even then, people would have a joke with me and I didn't know how to take it because I looked up to these guys. But it would hurt me when there'd be just honest banter. Then when I got to play, that was when everything went away because all I was solely focusing on was there. But once footy stopped, I got to go to a nightclub or I got to eat this or I was just always searching for something else.
If I was a manager, right, of a young Jake Marketo today, I wouldn't let him touch the money. If you want to go and self-sabotage yourself.
I tell you what, I know how to find out.
I wouldn't let you you go self-sabotage yourself in the physical and what you're doing. I'll hold on to everything that you've created, right? And then once you fuck it for yourself, right, and you've destroyed it, it's still there for you.
Because that's like it's truly from like this is when Mez and I knew each other. So from 17 to 22, I was on a warpath.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story too. When we first built the gym, we finished it. I'd walk in, it's a fucking massive building. I think I'm fucking like 33, but I don't have all the skills yet that I got now. So I'd be walking in and I'd be going, what the fuck am I doing in here? But then I got to front up to the team. You've almost got to become something you're not and you don't even believe you are.
I like to call it fearless.
You know what I mean? But I used to turn up and I'd go, man, when's this fucking feeling going to go? Like, honestly, like, and, if I look back on my life, I'd probably have to thank my mum
100%.
for probably saving my life and my brother. So I was kind of lucky, right? Both parents stayed together, but, they were Turkish immigrants. So I was very rebellious. I was very rebellious, like, fucking throughout my whole life. And I used to go to my brother and go, fuck, man, I've just had a fight with my mum. I go, I don't think she likes me, fucking blah, blah, blah. And my brother goes, mate, just fucking relax. But I looked up to my brother. So I remember, like, sometimes my mates would go to my brother, are you going to say anything to Mets? He goes, he knows what the fuck he's got to do. You know what I mean? But I had that, I was kind of lucky that I can't let him down. There was a bit of fear, even though there was delinquency in there, but there was still a fear. there was points I'd believe in myself, and then there was points where like, I go, fuck, can I really do this? Or am I fucking lying to myself? And you have these mind games that you're playing, and that's why I want to ask you, like, you probably thought, fuck, I'm good enough, but am I really good enough?
Well, and it goes back to what I said, like, I was only there because it got me out of where I was.
Yeah.
And that was my mentality. Is like, okay, I'm here now. I'm just going to keep being me, and just, I never had any, I never took the time for me to try and be a better person. And that means that I wasn't hurting anyone. It was to understand why I was the way I was, why I spoke the way I spoke, why I was putting myself in these vulnerable positions. All these things that I learnt when I became sober, because at the end of the day, and this is hard for a lot of people because it was fucking hard for me.
My 4 years off the alcohol, bro,
Well, and that's everything.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, because especially from where I was, is when you look back and you sit with yourself, it's only ever been you.
Yeah.
And that's hard for people to understand, because it's easier to blame someone else for hurting you. And that's okay too, but this is where radical accountability comes into play. When you learn to love yourself more, then you will love other people, even though they are who they are. We must also allow them to be who they are.
Yeah.
How we take it is on us.
That's right.
You know, and as I said, there are bad people out there that do very silly things. Let's not discount that.
100%.
But where are you placing yourself? Why are you putting yourself in these certain environments? Are you? That's where you can look back at yourself and go, okay, not the most beneficial position to put my decision to put myself in. Maybe I need to look at myself because these people are unsafe. This situation, this environment, whatever it is. Just it's a one-player game, life. So you got to try and be the best you can be by learning through your fuck-ups.
Yeah. And going back to your story, right? Because we when we first come in here, look, I remember coming in here with Origin and training, and obviously it's grown since then. But to hear your story with it is you walked into this, it's fucking 4 levels, right? To come in here with this space and go, what the fuck am I going to do with this, right? And then looking at it now, right? What it's, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a credit to yourself.
Yeah.
But because you fucking lean into it. You're like, you and like your brother, right? Role model for you, you would say, right?
Man of a few words, huh?
But that's the best. A leader, actions.
Yeah.
Confident, just do it.
Yeah.
You either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
The results are same. The results are fucking same. You either do it or you don't. You don't do it, nothing's going to happen. You do it,
Who knows?
something's going to happen. Right?
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. Either it goes to shit, right? But it'd be the same as if you didn't do it.
You know what I think? I don't know. I think this might help me. I always feel like if I don't put the work in, I'm going to lose it. So like every day, I have this fear of I better fucking show up to my whole team, my family.
Keeps you
Because if I don't do it, I'm going to lose it. It's like you playing rugby league, right?
Yes.
If I don't turn up to training, if I don't stop drinking, if I don't stop going out, you're going to lose it, right?
Yep.
So in business, I feel like if I don't put in the work, if I don't put in the effort, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my family, everything.
But do you love what you do?
Yeah, like I was talking to a couple of people. I was just having a meeting with my website guy before, and I spoke to a few people about this, because there's a lot of people that create businesses to sell.
Yes.
So there's two ways to look at business. You're starting a business and you want to get it to a certain point and you want to sell. I look at my business as an evergreen business because, and I said to the guys, I only got one job, one job only. I got to make people feel better than they've ever felt, and that's it.
This is a safe haven for
It
people.
is, bro.
Yeah.
This is an escape.
As we spoke upstairs for like 20, 25 minutes because I was interested in your story. Like, this is great. Well, him and I were driving home, and I'm like, dude, that's the goal. Like, is to have your safe haven, which is what we're creating with the Lost Boys, for people to be able to come, feel safe, train, learn, eat, whatever it is. It's a community-based thing for everyone to be a part of. And this is, like, when we left, I was like, I just got all these downloads, dude, from
That's awesome,
listening
bro. I love it.
and being here and just watching people go around and train and be happy to be there. You know, that's the vibe. That's what it's about.
And living from your passion. Like, over the it's always been, I don't know, probably conditioned me as a kid with my old man, and that is to be in control of yourself, right? So getting up as a 14, 15-year-old running the streets of Sydenham, like, I didn't want to fucking do that.
Yeah.
I did it because, same as you, role model, right? My old man's doing it. He's fucking 40-odd at that time. If I felt obliged to do it, right? Until I got to an age where it was just conditioned in me. You got to do this shit. You got to do it, one, and then it started to become a passion. I felt good about it. I felt, fuck, no one else is doing this shit. It's just something's got to come from it.
Yeah.
Right? And you keep getting the hits, getting cut from teams, people telling
How
you
the
fat.
fuck did you get cut from teams? You're fucking massive, man.
Oh,
I've seen you play.
It was
like,
the opposite.
Did you train your butt off after that? Like, were you
just,
like, fuck it, if I'm getting cut?
It was
like,
an obsessive. I was obsessed with it. It
yeah.
got to a stage where I was just obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It was a must because it was conditioned to me as a kid, as a child. Like, me and my brother used to get up. We used to cry because we didn't want to fucking do it, but get the fuck. This is what we do.
Yeah.
We get up and we go. Right. So it was conditioned to me until I started. First, I cried. Then I was jumping out of bed. The alarm would go. I'd take smoothies in the trunk. Like I was.
Can I? Yeah. Just let me tell a story about this guy, right? So when we've first, like, we were fortunate enough, obviously, to, you know, when will we start going full time? About 18, 19?
Yeah.
So him and I, we'd do the Tuesday night movies because it was cheap Tuesday.
The cinemas,
right? So go pick him up, and he'd have like something hidden in like a hoodie or whatever, and I'm like, what's he got in his shit? What's he got in his jumper and shit like that? I'd get there, I'm getting the large popcorn, the Coke, the choc top, dipping it in the fucking popcorn. So I'm sitting there hooking in, watching, and then I look over, he's got fucking cashew nuts and blueberries. And I look at him, I go, what are you doing? It's the movie. He's like, no, I can't put, like, I don't want to skin folds and that. And I'm like, I look back in that time, and when I'd hear that, I go, that's why. And then I'm just going, fucking bang, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So like, that's the thing. Like, and with as it's gone on, like as in life and our friendship, we'll just, like, those sorts of stories, we've got 5 million of them.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we look back now and just like we've always done our best to be ourselves, and it comes with bullets. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But that's the price you pay when you be as authentic as you possibly can while learning how to be better. So like
So and that's the thing. Like that's obsession.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was leading
blueberry,
into.
Like, and I love
cashews.
I love cashews.
Not at the movies, mate. Like,
I'm a cashew guy because I put on weight easy, so I get it. Man, I was a chubby kid. I was called a fat kid when I was in primary school.
And that's
and
what
I
come
hated
with it too.
it.
Well, that's
like,
what come with it too.
Yeah.
I was an obese kid.
I remember like I competed when I was 21. I was fucking shredded, and I remember when there was a mate of mine a couple of years before we played footy for Mascot. Yeah. He goes, "You'll never be like your brother." Tell me, I go, "Fucking motherfucker," and I love the guy. Yeah, top bloke. Yeah. And then, long story short, but my brother went overseas, and we had our first gym, and it was probably a year into it, and I'm fucking 21 years old. So. And back then, there was only 2 workers. It was either me or him. So if he was going on holiday, I had to do from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. 7 days a week for 7 weeks.
That's heavy.
So what I decided to do, I may as well try and do a contest prep.
Yeah, that's a good
idea.
idea.
So I've gone into contest prep mode knowing I got no backup. With the guy that's competed that many times, not even around. He comes back. After 7 weeks, he goes, "What the fuck?" I go, "Bro, I'm about to compete." He goes, he was blown away. Yeah. But I look back at that, I don't know how the fuck I done it. I just put it in my head that guy's comment at the beach, it was against him. Yeah. And I love the guy, and he's still a good mate.
That's why.
And I love the guy.
Yeah.
But that comment where he said, "You'll never be like your brother."
Yeah, it's the fucking fuel.
And that's part of the masculine makeup.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
as a man,
let me show you.
As a man, right?
Yeah.
We take challenges different to women.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we do.
When we're all sitting around having a banter, like as Mez is saying, "Oh, you're fat, da da da." 10 tests and 15 origins later. Do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
With you, your story with that, I went through something similar. So 16 days ago. Yeah. I had a good 6-7 weeks off. I was sort of pretending, eat good 4 days of the week, 7, just blame winter. It's a bit cold, this and that. And then the other morning I woke up and I was like, looking a bit fat, mate. All right, let's go. Then the next day, boom, straight into it, cut down all the stuff that I was eating that I didn't need to eat. And then, like same little challenge. I've never really been chunky, but I was starting to notice myself a little bit. And then the last 15 days, I've dropped 5.5 kilos. And I was like, okay, so when him and I talk again in the car's therapeutic for us. I'm like, it's just that one challenge where someone goes, you're this, you can't do it. And then you're like, well, fucking watch this then. Yeah. That's the fuel I feel that we're sort of sitting in at the moment with certain things as well.
It's just
that's what I love, man. Yeah. That's what I love about you guys.
It's just accountability. Yeah. And the best thing is, I'll never hate the people that fucking come at me as a kid, and even till today, is because they're keeping me accountable.
Yeah, man.
They're keeping me accountable.
Yeah.
Or you're this person. No, I'm not. Watch me do this. You're that person. No, I'm not. This is
I'll
who
tell
I
you
am.
a story. So I've done my first retreat in Fiji, right?
Yeah.
My wife thought I was crazy. She goes, mate, what are you doing? My bookkeeper next door, they just thought I was crazy, but I had it in my head that I had to do it.
Yeah.
And Kenny was there. He's seen how hard I worked. He was fucked himself. He was fucked.
Did he wear the headphones over?
Mate, every girl likes him, mate. He irritated me. But he's seen how hard I was working. And then I remember Matty was there, one of the other trainers, and he goes, Mets, you got to have a break. I go, bro, I'm not fucking having a break, bro. I'm fucking going all out. These motherfuckers are going to leave here and go, fuck. This cunt's a fucking animal. I go, I'm not fucking having a break. I don't give a fuck how anyone else runs their fucking retreats. These cunts are going to know that I fucking give people the best fucking experience.
Imagine that.
But that was my mindset. And I didn't expect it. I get it. Like, sometimes people look out for you. And they go, well, what are you doing this for? Like, all this effort that you're going to. But, I'm the opposite. I go, let me do it. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And then let me give people the ability to go, just, man, if you outwork yourself, it's going to get done.
It's a bit of balance with that, eh? It's like, why are you doing it? But you know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And only you know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know you're caring for me, but you actually...
And this, I'm fucking 47 and I'm copping this still, you know what I mean? Like,
doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
Nah,
this is the thing, it will never stop. So this is what I want to go to, right? You guys sent me a plan of the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm going, these guys are fucking animals, man. This is a mad plan.
Yeah.
And then obviously I've seen what you're doing with the cold baths, freeze yourself.
Yeah.
That vision, how often do you guys look at it? Because you know what, when you nail that, bro, man, you guys are going to be fucking massive. And I actually, talking to you guys right now, I really believe in you guys. And when I see that, I go, man, I want to help support these guys because that matters to me. Because all my life, I've been told that I couldn't do it.
Can I lead in with this?
Yeah, of course. I just want to thank you for that too.
That's also what I was going to say.
So thank you for that. But go,
and people can go against this, and this is totally my view on it. A large percentage of people, they try to keep men down. We get shot at, and sometimes we actually deserve it because we do have the ability to slip off stream. But when we're putting in the effort, it's okay for men to validate each other because, it's good to have a bit of banter and bag ourselves, but that's also someone going, hey, bro, like, you can be better. But when you see someone actually having a fucking crack, that's where the tribe needs to get together and build. And that's what I'm getting from this, bro, because when we've also shown it to other people, and they're just going...
What did they say to that?
Same thing. Like, when the fuck's this happening? It's there. Like, funnily, we'll tell you, right? So we're big on manifestation.
Yeah.
Seeing is believing, thought is the pro, right?
Yeah.
Even before we've had the ability to have this space, we'd drive there and sit there and just look at it. Bro, we'll put this here, that colour there. When we walked inside, still, there's no okay to have the drum. We'll put this here. We're just talking it into existence. Then we get the message. This is the thing. Do you agree? Yeah, bang. No worries. And then we sort of look at each other and go, we asked for it. It's time to fucking man up and put it into play now.
Yeah.
Then that's what we do. That's as simple as that. But you got to be willing to swim through the shit to get to the other side. It's just what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Always go back. Like, with Freeze Yourself, because that was the first business venture.
Yeah.
Right. I never stepped into business in my life before this. Right. I've always done my best work under pressure, and when life's fucking right up against you, going like I'm talking life or death, right? In a position, it's like, okay, I've got 2 kids, I've got a purpose there, I've got to stay here. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna? No one's here to save you.
Yeah.
No one's gonna fucking help you.
I love that one. No one is here to
No
save
one-
you.
no one-
You're the only one.
Okay, no one gives a fuck when it comes down when you've got to look completely solely at yourself. No one gives a fuck, so you have to. When you get to that point, I want to build a life around my values, morals, and passion. Right? When I was at a stage in my life like that, I was addicted to cold plunging because that gave me a sense of control over me. Even though my thoughts were fucking chaotic, life-changing experience, didn't know where to look or who to go to. Every time I jumped in fucking 3-degree water, that's all I was focused on. And the feeling that it gave me after it was higher than any drug.
It is. I
And
was doing a fair bit of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's out of control.
I'm gonna start again. I was getting him in it. He hates it.
Yeah, but it's the freedom it gives you.
It does. It does.
It
Honestly,
takes
it does.
away. It takes away any noise.
Yeah.
You hop in it, it's gone. You're free from that. For that
Everything.
3 minutes, there's no bullshit.
Yeah.
There's not. It's you against you.
Yeah.
That pressure is on you. You got to survive it. Then it's like a hard fucking session. It's like it's fucking hard,
Yeah, I know.
right? But when you overcome that,
It's the best.
it's it's overwhelming.
So that's the premise of the whole vision too.
Well, that will
really.
will freeze it. Then it goes into the project and the business venture. Is I called it Freeze Yourself because I wanted to call it Free Yourself.
Yeah.
So freeze,
Yeah.
FREE,
Yeah.
is free yourself.
Yeah.
Freeze yourself. Well,
Yeah.
fuck, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
It's in the wording. Free
Yeah.
yourself.
Free yourself.
So I wanted everyone to experience that medication for cheap and anywhere they are,
Yeah.
and access, which
Yeah.
is mobile device.
Yeah.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
How do you do that? You scatter them everywhere. You make it accessible and cheap, and it doesn't just benefit the person. It benefits the host of the bath
Yeah.
because there's a passive income. So we pay the establishment part of the membership to host the bath.
When you
to have
guys
it
told me
there.
how easy it was, it was an easy sell.
But
You just made it easy.
because it's everyone's it's community.
Yeah.
Everyone's helping. It's beneficial. It helps the client free themselves physically and mentally. So it gives them access. It's cheaper for them and full access.
Yeah.
The gym, it brings people into the
together.
gym, gives them foot traffic they never would have had, gives them opportunity to sell their own products to the people that come in the door. Plus, they're getting a kick from every member that joins in at that establishment. Everything that we do and what we continue to do, we want everyone to be eating and be a part of it and uplifting. And our values and morals is health and wellness. Freeze yourself. That's recovery. That's wellness. The Lost Boys. It's a space for men. Because when I was in the lowest part, right, there was nothing to go to.
What was your lowest part?
Lowest part was losing everything.
Yeah. So talk me through that. Like, how did that?
So I went through a separation, just a normal separation that turned ugly because of the system. The way that the system could be used against you.
Yes.
So,
And I've heard these stories from other people that I know really well as well.
and
so.
it's everywhere. When if you've never been through it, it doesn't exist, obviously, right? But when you go through something, you see it everywhere, and it's going through courts and seeing. And this isn't against women or whatsoever. I'm a massive advocate for violence against women. I grew up in a household where it existed, so I'm fully aware of it. So, but being on the other side of it, by being falsely accused of it, of absolutely everything. It's just that the system there helps that side, no matter what, and it's what you can prove, whatever you can.
How long was that process? Like,
it's still going.
And obviously Jake's around you to help you out, but did you sort of see a massive gap as well with the Lost Boys to bring this in, because you don't want people to go through what you went through?
Massive gap, and it's not, and it drifts into a different field too. So there's that side of it, right? But then there's what's going on in society at the moment. Like, don't get me wrong, the stats against women and domestic violence is massive, right? But we're looking at this side, right? Because there's plenty of help there. There's plenty of things going on that side of the fence. But being on this side of the fence, when I was in no man's land, trying to silence. There are a few things, but there's nothing that really takes control or gives you direction. Right?
Like you're playing as a rugby league player.
Exactly.
There's no playbook for this direction.
No, there's no playbook.
There's no playbook
until
you're in it.
Or you create it.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, our passion is, like, we got to stand for something in life. Like, I can create businesses, footy careers, whatnot, but that's me. Right? I want to create something for everyone. Right? And I'll go back to what hit me was that period of my life. All right, so what can I create to help other people that is 100% going to go through this shit? The stats are through the roof. I think it's 1 out of 5 people, get hit by the system in this sense, right?
That's a lot.
And that's taken away from your kids, wealth. Like, I shattered my whole body for 15 years and you end up with nothing. Right? But that just gets swept aside. Kids, that's the biggest thing. Time with your children. Time. You don't get that back. You don't get time back. That gets stripped from you. But that just gets pushed to the side. Right? Fuck that. Men need protection. Male suicide,
7 in 10.
That stat conquers all. Conquers all stats. Why? There's physical domestic violence, right? You can't see emotional or psychological domestic violence. Men are killing themselves because of the things you can't see. It's not physical.
And the things you can't, there's no place to talk about it.
There's nowhere to go. And this is what creates the Lost Boys. And Jake will jump in here too now. It's
you know, you guys know people like Fidel, Ian Schaefer and all these guys. The people that are the best at helping people are the people that went through it.
Have to.
Not like someone that, mate, I've done a uni degree, I've never been through this, I'm going to tell you what to do. That's fucking bullshit.
You have to.
I wouldn't trust one of those people.
No.
I wouldn't trust any of those people that done a uni degree on psychology. I'd be going, mate.
The biggest teacher is life.
100%.
And
100%.
That's it. That's the way I view it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like I'm in it with him because I choose to be there. I don't have to be here. But the conversations I was having with him 12 months ago, I'm not a man if I don't come help my mate.
Yeah. But you also seen a lot too.
Yeah, and that's why.
You're in a position where you've been through a lot to be able to help out.
I just come out of my stuff. Right. And I was sitting there and I'd created this life for myself where I was living with my family on the Sunshine Coast, loved my job, worked for my uncle, family business. Like, I'd gone from a fucking tornado for 17 years to giving up everything to create my new self. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is cool. Then I'm talking to my mate and I'm sort of sitting there and I'm like, okay, these conversations are happening every day. Then there's all these other, I wanted to challenge myself again and he was starting to go into the business side of things. And then I'm sort of sitting there and I'm like, I need to go down there because working with youth, which is what I've done for the last 6 or 7 years, reading books on brain development, trauma, all these sorts of things, and the real cool spaces I was able to be a part of to sort my own shit out. that's my duty now to come and lend a hand. And he's lent me a hand. Don't worry about that. It's a fucking vice versa thing between him and I. But just the conversations I was hearing, I was like, I need to go down. And so that's what I did.
So where were you living? You're in Queensland?
Sunshine Coast,
okay.
Like,
well, how long ago was the conversation to start this?
So the Lost Boys was just...
Lost Boys and Freeze Yourself.
So Freeze Yourself was a him thing that he had created probably 20 months ago. The Lost Boys was just going to be a podcast.
Okay.
And then as we sort of...
We would talk about
this
sort of stuff.
And things we were involved in, and we just sort of looked at each other and we were like, bro, let's own it. Because if the ship goes down, we'll go down with it. But we can do this. So we just started launching into it and putting ourselves into positions of benefit. And all of a sudden, we're sitting there and we're like, as we're saying, we're at the warehouse, we're like, we can do it.
And that's where it went from my life lessons, right? And it's and again, with all of this, right, it's all me. I put myself in that situation. I didn't see the signs. I accepted just to be comfortable and so it's all me. I'm accountable for it all. I created that space, that energy contract with that time in my life. Even though it was fucking hard and I had to face it and sit with myself and whatever it come with, I'm fully accountable for the situation that I created of my side.
And that goes back to how to become a man.
You got to own it. 100%.
And that's why, like the Lost Boys is, let's give you the masculinity back.
Own it. Yes.
Let's get you back in charge. Let's show you how to live clean, so we can help and assist you, so you don't make the same mistakes we made.
You sharpen the axe. You just fucking learn. You keep one way or the other. You can fucking let it kill you, or make you stronger.
And this is the truest thing, and this is hard for everyone to comprehend, right? Best mates. I know at some stage though, he chooses him over whatever I'm doing. And it's not that no one gives a fuck about you. There's just an extent where someone needs to go and do what they need to do. And that's why when you become, I feel, a full-grown man and you have an understanding of that, it puts accountability back onto yourself to go, okay, well, I must accept that too, because I need to make sure that this is straight. But while we're on the same sort of ship, let's build it together, because when the ships do separate, which it does, because people don't have a family, people want to go. That's when you go, great ride, brother. I'm off now. That's just life, but that's very hard for people to accept because people have been abandoned in their lives. People, this is just to go back to before. I work with youth for 6 or 7 years, right? I work with children who were born addicts. Due to their parents. I've worked with people who have never met their parents. So when I sit there and I hear someone, and I used to be like this. This is why I speak about it, because I know what it's like to be unaccountable and victim and blame everyone else for how I feel. I feel that is a really not cool way to live, because then you're never going to look at yourself. So when you sit there and you go, I put myself in the situation. I said that. I acted like that. I behaved like that. I chose to be around those people. What the fuck am I doing? Then all of a sudden, I've only just really started to believe in God. This has been a process of, I feel, my whole life. And I give thanks every day because look where I'm sitting. If you would have known who I was a decade ago,
I knew heaps of people like you, Jake.
Do you know what? But you know what I mean? We all know
not in
people,
a bad way.
But I'm talking about
not in a bad way. But I could, like, even back then. I would have had conversations with you because I can go down to the level of wherever that individual is. You know what I mean? But not in a bad way. But what I'm saying is, like if I look back at my life and I don't like discussing, my whole life, but because of my kids. He's a bit older now. Because they asked me, Dad, what were you like? I go, mate, when I was like, but there's certain points I look at my life and I go, fuck, I'm lucky to be alive. And that's you probably would have had that,
that's
right?
what I was alluding to.
I'll push back on that too, right? But those parts in your life created who you are today.
100%. I was watching this podcast yesterday, right? I was watching this podcast yesterday and it was the Nelk Boys and they were talking to Dana White.
Cool,
See it?
I watched.
Did you see when Bradley Martin asked him, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Yeah.
And he looks, he goes, mate, nothing. He goes, nothing. He goes, and I like this because a lot of the times we hold regret on what we should have done. This is what I try and give people advice. Like I go like, not everyone's going to be a Dana White or make it through that. This is the problem though. This is the problem. And I think there's two parts to Dana's answer.
Yeah.
It made him who he was, but how many people don't make it that wanted to make it as well? So I try and say to people, don't make some of my mistakes if you really want to make it and save time. I go, you can actually save time.
Give him a shortcut.
There is.
A healthy shortcut from
But
life experience.
I didn't know.
No.
I just thought like I've got to have good times.
You
You know what I mean?
And this is you want to flip it. Regret's fucking healthy.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I look at regret and I think about all the things I once did.
But
I'm like, why the fuck was I there at 4 a.m? Or why did I think it'd be good to go to the pub the next day at 10?
Yeah.
What was my mindset? Then I sort of sit there and I'm like, I was just a lost little boy hanging around other lost little girls.
Boys,
And like, you know, all these
Yeah.
souls just looking to find an outlet, whether it was at a pub, a nightclub, on a bend,
And
whatever it was.
And
That's where I placed
true.
myself.
And all of this, right, and even your stuff, right, because that's the Lost Boys. We're all Lost Boys.
Oh,
we're all coming.
We're all lost
right?
boys,
Yeah.
bro.
And like with
100%.
Yeah.
and
100%.
my side of it come from my life experience with that, right? But it also comes into society and the way things are going at the moment with men,
Yes.
right, and boys,
I agree with that.
and all the social conditioning and all the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest lesson that we've just talked about is accountability, right? Just owning every fucking second of your being on this planet, right? So what do we do with that? We've had life hits, life lessons. We've been highly successful and very, very fucking low, all right? And I believe you want to find the balance, right? You want to just find that healthy balance. How do we create a space where we can educate, advise, and just make a difference in one space?
Let me ask you a question,
the
right?
Lost Boys.
But you know when you talk about Lost Boys, how many people did get lost in the system of rugby league? Like if you look at players that retire or finished early, what is the percentage? Because
I reckon
there is a massive percentage that don't ever come back.
Do you want me to, honestly, I think we're always lost.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, you know what you guys are doing?
Yeah.
You have found something.
Yeah.
But how many players do you see that have finished that didn't have
Probably
this support?
It'd be 95%.
95%.
It'd be
Because you know you talk about NBA, you know, NFL and all that. They reckon I think it's 80 or 90% lose everything.
And it goes back to that 16-year-old kid.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Because at 16, their blinkers are like this to life. You're getting paid $30,000 a month into your bank account.
Yeah.
Right? Women are throwing themselves at you. All these mates want to be
Your mate.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Imagine you could do whatever you wanted
At 16
Yeah.
or 17.
18, 19.
And have all
But
the
this is the
girls.
thing. Even with the sporting world, right? Here's 500 grand for the next 4 years. Be an adult. Doesn't work.
yeah,
Like, you know, like
Yeah.
you and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
you're just loading a gun for someone to
Yeah.
go
But
fucking just destroy
Get to
themselves.
35 years old
And you're doing
Yeah.
the same shit.
and then
And you're
step
doing the
from
same
that,
and you got nothing
Yeah,
now.
step
And you
off
put
of
your
that.
body.
step out of that into reality.
Yeah.
Into life, bro. It's a war zone out here, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a wild fucking
It's a
west
fucking
out
war
here.
zone.
It's a wild
Let me
west.
ask you a question. Like, I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he was in a different sport. He was in rugby league before that, and he goes, "I miss rugby league. I miss the blue collar people in it."
You know, they missed the
You know what I
locker
mean?
room.
And he misses that. Like, he went into a different sport,
Yeah.
and he said rugby league's got real people where we came from.
Yes.
Right. And so when I look at that, like, you know, it can happen to everyone, but there's a lot of Polynesian boys playing the sport too.
Yeah.
And I know with the Polynesians, the family puts all the pressure on the Polynesian kids to be the breadwinner.
So I grew up in Marrickville, Tempe, multicultural, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up with a lot of Polynesian families. A lot of my mates are Polynesian, right? And it's totally different to the way I was. I was raised in it, so I sort of think
You
I
can
am.
see it.
I think I am Polynesian sometimes, right?
Some of the words that come out of his mouth
Right.
is fucking
Because I've been around it and I've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Now, Polynesians are faith.
Yeah.
They're very religious.
Yeah.
They're backed by faith, right? That's why they're pretty much the best players in the sport because they just play with faith.
Yeah.
It's not money. It's not.
Yeah. Wow.
It's not all that. So, and that's why they pass it off, right? Because it's just faith. We come into it and we lose. It doesn't matter. We got each other, right? Which is great. Which is fucking powerful, right? But why not do something with it while you got it, right? And that's the managers. That's where you go back to.
Yeah.
Managers.
Yeah.
And it goes back to knowing who you're managing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Polynesian kids. You got to understand their culture. You got to understand their background and understand how they do things.
Yeah.
They're different.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different way of living. So how do you manage a Polynesian kid to a kid that was raised on the streets?
Two completely different.
Two completely different. You can't have one system for all.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the NRL.
But that's the same with the schooling system.
It's the
and
same for
everything,
all of
right?
it. This is the thing.
Well,
This is what we're all.
Like, I mean, we're getting indoctrinated before we even finish.
So, do you want to go down? Because we
We
can.
can go down
Let's
the rabbit hole.
not leave for a week. I'll log in with you about this shit. I love this shit.
My kids are doing well at school, but I got 15 and under.
Yeah.
Like I didn't turn up to one of my tests.
No.
I think it was biology.
Yeah.
But I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Because the only reason I didn't turn up because I didn't know what time the test was.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I was a mad excuse. Bro, they felt sorry for me.
Yeah.
But I was glad. I go, fuck, thank God I didn't have to go through that. But the school system is to suppress us and indoctrinate us to not, because they couldn't have taught me like the other kids, right? And I used to get pissed off. You know what I mean? So I used to start trouble at school.
Well,
I was the most distracted kid too.
You'll dive into this too, right? I had a taste of both worlds, right? In Sydney, where I grew up, I went to a college.
Yeah.
Right. Then we moved down there to the South Coast. I went to a public school. So I had a taste of. I was dog shit in both. I was a active learner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I learned.
Yeah.
Right. And like you're saying,
I'm the same.
Yeah.
That's
but this is the thing, and it's like we talk about. There's one system.
Yeah, one
right?
system. Yeah.
Active learners.
Yeah.
Like some read and write, some work with their hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's different ways of learning shit. But that system caters to one way of learning and
That's
what
right.
they want you to learn, so that you come into the system, learn those tools, come out, and you work your 9 to 5 and pay your taxes.
They want workers, not thinkers.
100%.
That's the
Yeah,
difference.
well, you're either visual or auditory. So you got to go, which one suits the individual and who do we have to put them with?
And rugby league.
Yeah.
It's one system.
Yeah.
How dare you go and create something and take away media coverage from us?
Yeah.
How dare you speak your mind? We need you to push this narrative.
Yeah.
How do you want to go to rugby union when it betters you and your family?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What do you like?
Yeah.
And that's why.
And like even in rugby league, like you're hearing all the contract talks, right?
Yeah.
And they're going, why isn't he doing the right thing by the club? But the clubs always do the wrong thing
clubs
by
don't
more
give
than
a fuck.
50%
The clubs
or
don't
more.
give a fuck.
So if they're probably doing the right thing by probably a handful of players anyway.
Sorry, I'll reiterate myself. A percentage of the clubs don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are clubs there, and look at the top 4.
Yeah,
right?
they do care. There's certain clubs
That
when
wall,
they
they know how to run a business.
Yeah.
They know how to look after their product. It's all business. They know how to look after their product.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They know how to manage their system
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
Where other clubs just want to make fucking quick money.
So
All controlled by the NRL.
Yeah.
I went out. My extended family, little fella, his name's Noah. He played in the New South Wales trials out at Penrith, right? And I do unique stuff, so I went out there and watched, and then I just drove around Penrith for about an hour because I was intrigued. I was sitting there and I'm like, drove around and I'm looking at the schools, the rugby league, the Penrith Centre of Excellence, all these things, and I just drove around and I was like, these guys will be in the top 4 until they choose not to be in the top 4 anymore, because they have it. Because it's not about them, it's about
Community.
everyone.
It's connection.
there's other clubs out there that are run the same. I'm only going off Penrith because that's where I was at and I got those downloads and seen that.
But it's true because I
It
was
is-
a part
Because you
of it.
played there.
Mez was there.
Because
Like
I want to
walked-
know that. No, I want to know
that's
about
true.
this.
I walked in the Leagues Club and I'm like, they celebrate
Every,
being a Penrith Panther. Like, and you don't have to play in the NRL. They celebrate Penrith.
the district.
The whole, and I'm sort of sitting there and I'm like, if you want to be pushing, you got to celebrate where you're at. Not what's happened ages ago. Like, if you want to come 50 years ago, that's great. And that, but like, what are you doing now to create that sense of belonging where the players and the people are like, I follow them. That's who I play for.
Yeah.
That's who I want to be.
Well,
You
they've
know,
got
like
their-
that's what it, well, I feel anyway.
Yeah.
That's what
Well, that's
clubs
it.
and everyone within those places should strive to be. That people don't want to go to another club.
Yeah.
You want them to fucking stay there. You want your juniors to play for a decade at that club, not go buy someone to come in because there's enough rugby. Like everyone wants to play first grade, but why is it that certain clubs with big stables go out and buy over the top of their juniors?
Because
Well, Parramatta's one of those, right? Parramatta's one of those. But what was it like? Let me ask you, because what was it like at Penrith?
Yeah.
Because I remember we were talking about Saints,
yeah.
and 80%. I actually talking to Jason Nightingale.
Yeah.
80% are from Wollongong, but you know, we'll get to that. But what was it like at when because you were at Saints and then Penrith?
Yeah, it was massive for me. It was at that time the biggest decision of my life. That was my grassroots.
Yeah, Phil Gore got you there, right?
Yeah,
Was-
yeah. I sat down with him and Ivan at the time, and
Was that Ivan's first stint or second?
well,
Can you tell the funny
it's funny.
story?
So,
I love these stories.
I was in negotiations, right?
Yeah.
So there was a period at the Dragons where they were going through a shift, right? The Bennett was
Had
moving
left,
on,
yeah.
and I could feel it. I was there with the elite, right? And I'm like, I've done the work as a person to put myself in a position to collect.
Yeah, of course.
I know my worth.
Yeah.
I know my worth, and I'm not going to budge on that. And Penrith knew my worth. Gussie sat down, had a great convo with him and Ivan at the time, right? So I loved what they're about. I loved their vision, what they were doing, what their values and morals were, and what they were building to. I went, if I'm going to shift somewhere, I want to stay in Sydney. This the best fit. So I signed under Ivan, went and played the Prime Minister's 13 under Ivan. He was the coach. And then the week before pre-season, Ivan got sacked for Anthony Griffin. So
Fuck.
I was,
How did you feel about that?
well, again, I knew my worth.
Yeah.
I backed myself.
Yeah.
I knew what I could do. I knew their vision and goals hadn't changed. It was the coach that changed. And I've always played.
Did you see that coming?
I had no idea that was
Yeah,
fucking
it's
coming.
fucking
to be honest with
interesting.
you.
Hey, those
So,
sorts of,
Yeah.
But I just come with it. I took it on.
How long were you at Penrith? And because Griffin, how long did he last?
He did the three. I was under Griffin for 3 years.
Did Ivan come back the second time when
Well, Ivan come back when I left.
came back when you left?
I've
And then-
inflicted him.
Yeah.
Oh, but
No,
then,
he didn't flip me.
But didn't Griffin go to St George then?
a year after?
Year after,
A year
yeah.
after. So it's just it's all
Fucking
weird.
hell.
Yeah, yeah.
Go footy.
But but that story was for me. I feel like that was my that was a chapter of my life. So I went and to back what Jakey was saying with Penrith. I had no idea what I was getting into.
What was it like
fucking
then? Like, what
46
happened?
degrees in pre-season.
Wow.
Right? There's no ocean.
Yeah.
Right? So I went there. I wanted to retire after my first week of pre-season. My body
Wow.
seized up. They fucking train hard.
Yeah.
Like the mentality out there is
We've got to train harder than
you
everyone else.
fucking rip in. Like their facilities were dog shit at the time. They're at the stadium and it was just 46 degrees hot and I'm just going, I love it.
Yeah.
It took me back to being a kid. Just, all right, this is it. I've had it easy.
Mets, how do you reckon his legs went during pre-season run?
Fuck, that would have been.
It's fucking.
Season up.
I'm not joking.
He chafed at the ankle.
That's
You know, that's big.
that's when I questioned myself. I said, "What the fuck have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done?" but it was the best because I took myself out of my
Well,
comfort
you were
zone.
doing well there at Penrith. Like, you were making the.
Well,
the
this is
made
the
the
thing.
finals
So,
all the
You were making,
mate,
you were
that
doing all
first
right.
year at Penrith was, besides winning the GF and that, was the best year of my career.
Yeah.
The group of people we had, the juniors that were coming through the
yeah.
system, we ended up moving from that facility over to the Centre of Excellence.
Oh, were you there for that?
Yeah.
Hectic.
Yeah, they created that for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
They knew
There
he
it
was
is.
coming.
You got to.
I told myself that, right? So we went into that, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was like, at the start of it, it was like, the uncomfortable things, in which I now believe you need to be uncomfortable, right? So the uncomfortability of doing it, and then ripping in, building that connection, getting to know the area. I moved down there, up there, moved there, put myself in amongst it all. And like going back to what Jake said, everyone helps everyone, whatever they can do for their community, to see their juniors in the area just fucking thrive. That's what I felt there. They weren't there yet, like with the results.
But the feeling was there.
We were in the semis. We were pushing it.
Yeah.
They were waiting for like Gussie's a very smart man, right? He knew what he has in his back door, and that's what he's doing at Bulldogs now. Like, it's all business. He's very business. He like, he's been around for a while. He gets it. So the grassroots, he was just like, I was compared, and not comparing myself to Petro and players like that, but Petro went there at the back end of his career.
Yeah.
They were getting players at the back end of their career to give them profile.
Yeah.
I was the first player to go there in the peak of my career.
Yeah.
So, which is smart by them, right? And I put myself in that position. So, to go there where I was in my footy career, to pass on the knowledge I had from winning the Dragons, the Dragons culture, to bring it down there, and then to watch what we were doing, but then obviously I had to move on. Footy does its thing, but then to watch all of it, just that vision now. When I signed that contract, when they told me what they were going to build to and all that.
So they were selling you that.
But that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. And the Bulldogs would do the same.
Yeah.
Mate,
right? The Bulldogs would do the same.
Well, they've brought the same mentality in with the coach and all the training and how hard they're training, because, like, last year he was getting a lot of flack for that, Serraldo, but now it's paying off.
Where's Serraldo from?
Penrith. He's spent
Right?
a lot of years there.
So
it's good business.
It's all business. It's all constructed, right?
Yeah. I done the analogy the other day. I think you've seen it. The leaves, the branches, and the roots.
That was one of the
and the roots. I was literally going to go to that.
Yeah.
It's the roots.
Yeah.
You get the root. You nourish the roots.
Yeah.
The tree just fucking blossoms,
man.
right? So I just don't get it. Like, and it drives me up the wall with the Dragons. God love them. I love them to death, right? Because that's my roots.
Yeah.
And like,
Is Flano like? I don't mind Flano.
I don't mind Flano either. I don't mind Flano,
but because Wollongong's got the juniors, right?
I believe no matter what coach you put in there, right?
He has to try and beat the system.
Well,
that's in
there.
And
time.
Time, yeah.
It's all time and how you nourish your system.
Yeah.
You can't buy
you can't buy a comp. Because your 2010 side had fucking a lot of juniors. It was all homegrown, right?
We come, so when we come in the under 20s, we were 17, 18. Like, that's when the 20s first started.
If you look back look at the grand final winners. Take Melbourne out of it, because obviously, Melbourne. Yeah. But Melbourne has got a system where it brings these no-name players through. They've got an unbelievable system. But if you look at all the other sides, and you might have to take the Roosters out as well.
Yeah.
But, you go to the Tigers when Benji's side won, they were a lot of fucking local players. All these juniors that come through. Your side. Even like when you look at, in Manly one, they had Cherry and Kieran Foran.
It's the roots.
It's the roots. Always the roots.
It's always the roots. But what comes with the roots is sacrifice.
Yes.
Because when you're at root level, right, you don't know if that tree's going to live or die.
Yeah.
Until you nourish it.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to become a tree?
Fucking takes time.
Takes time.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the thing. It's all fear. It's all panic. It's all, oh fuck, we're not doing like. Just
I want a result
fucking
now.
relax.
The fans want a result
But
now.
I feel it's the coaches.
The coaches, yeah.
Well, they're
right?
under the
and the hierarchy within the business, right?
Yeah.
Because they want results too.
Yeah.
This is the thing: is results come over time.
Yeah.
They come over time. You
Yeah.
nourish. You put a coach in there that understands culture,
Yeah.
understands the system, understands the roots,
Yeah.
right? And you just back it.
Mm.
You just leave it there. You're gonna have shit years.
Yeah.
You're gonna have years where you have to sacrifice. You don't spend a cent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You cater to the ones that need to be paid, and
Yeah.
then the rest, you got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
It comes with sacrifices.
And this is the Lost Boys.
So
Right?
that's the lost
We're
boys.
It's
the
Lost
sacrifice.
Boys. No, because you've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got this clear vision, and you know that it's just going to take the sacrifice, few lean years, but we ain't going nowhere.
Well, we're sitting in. We'd be close to it for the first year. It's been lean this year.
Yeah.
It's been lean.
Yeah, but that's part of the process,
that's
right?
what I'm adding to is
Yeah.
only him and I know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
we've gone through. We don't
Yeah.
have, there's things that we do share and there's things that we keep
Yeah.
in our closet
Yeah.
because that was for him and I to experience.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, like what we were saying before, doubt us, don't like us, talk shit about us.
Yeah.
That's good because
we
It's
love
the greatest
it.
fuel ever.
and guess what? And then when we show you the warehouse, come train.
And the biggest thing is,
Come train. We want you to be a part of
Yeah.
it, but while you're watching the process and speaking shit, just do it over there.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
it's the same
Yeah,
as
no, I
you.
love it, man.
It's the same as you walking in this gym
Yeah.
Yeah.
when it was empty.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something.
I remember weekends, me and my brother had to work,
Yeah, but-
one of us throughout the whole shift, but we also had 2 other gyms too at the same time.
Now
And then the weekends I had to spend here, and then it was like a long, long days, mate. And my brother used to go have a break, go for a walk, and you'd go for a walk from here to Cleverly and come back.
how many levels you got here now?
There's 4 levels. Well, this wasn't even a level.
Remember telling me the other day?
But this room,
Yeah. You're saying it was the video.
this look, I created a room. I got rid of all the glass, ripped out all the whole ceilings.
Even this room here.
Yeah, but I didn't know nothing about it. Like,
But
so
you created
I
it.
said to Kenny, I said, I want to do a podcast. I think I want to do a podcast. This is my 3rd go.
You're a creator, bro. This is the thing. You walk into nothing.
You know what happened?
and
We
you fucking
finished
do
it. Like, everything was in. The equipment wasn't in. I go, now, fuck, I got to get the equipment. I don't know nothing about equipment. But then it was like, we finished it, and I go, fuck, I got to get guests now. Yeah, fuck me. Then I got to prepare. And each time I've been doing it, it's become easier because I'm just interested in the story.
Yeah.
And it's easy to talk to you, right? The skill, when men express, and I believe this, and people can have their views, and that's also allowed. When a man expresses, right, the psyop is that they're complaining. So when you have men sitting around actually having a conversation, and I mean like guys that are able to express themselves in a way that's easy to have a conversation, right? Because there's the blanket term is that stop complaining and get on with it. Well, no, we're allowed to have a chat about shit.
100%.
And if you decline us that, well, fuck you too.
Yeah.
Because we're all going through stuff, and this isn't declining anyone else.
Yeah.
But when men can sit around and have a conversation and be vulnerable and be able to share experiences, like we don't all have to sit here and talk about this stuff, but we do because we individually all get something out of it, and we hope the people that are watching it getting something out of it, and it builds trust, and it builds relationship, and it builds community, and people that listen to this or don't listen to this, eventually it gains momentum, and that comes back to what this is now. You didn't have this room. You decided to have this room.
Yeah.
We come in here today. This is my first podcast I've ever done outside of our one. So I didn't sleep too well last night.
I was just going to have a conversation. I just try and make it easy.
But the thing is too, when you start speaking, like as we spoke the other day, we're pretty open of, start talking about schools and indoctrination.
Yeah.
I'll go down that rabbit hole. But then also sometimes I've got to pump the brakes because people don't have that data, and people view those places completely different to how I view them. you know. So I've also got to be accountable in certain aspects and how I present myself and how I choose to express myself, because I'm also thinking, okay, well, people may not like that view or want that view, and that's okay as well.
100%. Look, like some people are going to have the views that they have.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the school system didn't work for me, and it didn't help me become who I am right now. I had to go out and learn about I had to learn everything myself.
Yeah.
You know,
How
I
good
watch
YouTube?
2 to 3 hours of YouTube every day,
Right.
and I'm learning about how to speak.
Yeah.
I'm learning about how to deal with people.
Yeah.
You know, and then creating processes and systems. And I'm trying to, I just take inventory of myself, how I can be better. One thing I've done really well in my life is I go, this is the time I'm going to get up, I'm going to train, this is the time I'm going to go to sleep.
Routine.
I'm going to do that every single day. I hardly have a day off because now I understand if I want to be who I want to be, I've got to create this discipline that I require. And for me now, it's become easy because you've got to create the pattern. It's like yourself. You said 4 years I've been drinking. Initially, it was fucking hard. You would have been like, fuck me dead, man. I need to escape.
Yeah, it's fucked.
You know, you talk about the lean year the last 12 months. Like every challenge is going to reappear and challenge you to do that again. And so for me, it's like, we're going to build this. I'm going to become more disciplined. I'm going to build the best team. I'm going to make sure I value that team. I talk to that team, and I push them to become the best they can become. And at each point, I'm going to keep finding better people. Like we were talking about you guys. Like James was talking about, you guys, you got to meet these people. I go, mate, fuck, I'm fucking busy. Interview Candace. These guys are coming down. Had a great interview with Candace. What I love about Candace, she's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
Anyone can say anything about her. But just as a mum, 3 kids, everything they've been through, I love Dave. I've known Dave for a while.
Going through shit.
So, and then she goes, "Hey, you got to meet these guys."
Humble.
But because I like her and how hard she works, I go, Candace, no worries, I'll get down there now. You know what I mean? So you trust the judgment, and that changes everything. You know what I mean? And you know, you guys coming here and you sent me what you're doing. I go, man, I'm a big supporter of these guys.
And we respect
I
that.
actually believe.
No, respect
I believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I believe you're going to also inspire a lot of other people. Like when I look at it, I go, my beliefs in how many people they're going to help, which then, you know, the byproduct is how successful you're going to become.
Yeah. And we owe Candace.
We do.
Seriously, like, you know, she
Well, we'll give her a club plug as well. 100%. I'll do a video on her. Like, I don't want with Madge, right?
Yeah.
And Madge's on social media.
Yeah.
And his mate sent it to him. And then he sent me a message. He goes, bro, thanks for having my back.
Yeah.
I said, but that's what you've done, bro. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I know Candace's brother, Pat, they're just a family, man. They're just people, man.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's the truth. Like, you know, we get more out of observing someone do what they say, and it took me a long time to understand that, because I'd say shit and then do fuck all about it. So I understand that process as well. Whereas now, when we sit and we do these things, and we're sitting here today, and I'm like, the reward is what you were saying before, right? And the reward's our life. The reward is meeting cool people. The reward is being able to do practically what we want, because we've done all the hard work. And if people want to take shots at that, do it. Shoot your whole clip, because it just goes over there. I'm not worried about what you're doing, because I'm so focused on creating a life for myself, my friends, my family. And when I do have the opportunity to create a family, it's there to be given to them. Because that's all. That's what I believe. When you become a man, the whole point is to acquire and then just give it away so other people can enjoy what you attain through your lessons.
Well, like your opening, we're coming. I'm going to bring Kenny down. We'll bring a crew down.
Mate.
And we're going to film everything, bro.
Yeah. No, it's
I love you guys, man.
And like,
honestly.
Like we said too, it's all about collabing.
Yeah.
Well, because we love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right, and
and I'm always going to be
created.
like, anytime you want advice for anything, bro.
100%. And we'll lean on that.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
Honestly, like when we said...
You know what? I believe everyone needs it. And like when I go to someone, I go, what would I want for myself? And what could I give back?
Well, you've created exactly in a different string. Like we're targeting an area, right? Like this is everything.
Yeah.
Especially what you've done here in the podcast. Like what I love about what you're doing and what you've done is that you see opportunity in everything. Like you said, this was a room.
Yeah.
What can I do with this? Bang.
Yeah.
You know, there's opportunity everywhere.
Yeah.
Where some people like you said at the start, oh, do you think that's a good idea? They speak from their fear.
Or they complain.
Or they
Oh,
complain.
that's too hard. Or
you know what I mean? So you can either be a victim or a soldier.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do.
And that takes a lot of drowning.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
Yeah,
you got to drown a couple times before you can swim, you know, like.
Bro, I done podcasts. First one was in my living room.
Yeah.
I actually interviewed Counters back then and Dave.
Yeah.
And that got to so many episodes. Then it was with another guy, and that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then this is the third go.
Yeah.
So I spent the most money on this one, and I'm going,
I've got to do it now.
dead, bro.
Yeah, well,
Got to get done.
do it
The
now,
lesson
yeah.
there, until you fully threw yourself into it. You know what I
100%,
mean? You could
man.
look back at those times and go, I was only half in, you know, whereas now you're like, bang, it's go
I
time.
know we've been going for a while, but I love it, right? And it takes me back to a convo I had with him yesterday, right? And we walked away from a meeting and we're like, mate, why doesn't everyone understand investing? And I don't mean financially. I just mean the meaning investing. Because if everyone did, they would be very particular on what they invested everything into.
Yeah.
Whether it be money,
Their life.
their
Time.
life, food,
Yeah.
training,
Yeah.
knowledge. If you understood what investment is, it's what you put in, you get out. Right? So if you're going to put yourself into bad food, you're going to get that back. You're going to put your money into bad things, you're going to get that back. With this, so the more you invest into something that you're aligned with from your values and your morals and your passion, and your work ethic's fucking through the roof, it's going to fucking work
100%.
Yeah, but there's,
because of that investment.
and it goes back. You got to invest in some dog shit to get the golden nugget.
To
Like,
direct it.
I had 17 years of that.
Yeah.
I invested in dog shit, like just pain,
Yeah.
all of it. And then all of a sudden, the last 4 or 5 years of my life, I'm like, I'm actually living properly now. Now, is it hard? Yeah. But I know this hard is different to drinking and drugging, Jake. That's a different hard.
investment's different.
You know?
Yeah, it
My
is.
investment now is, as I said before, I'm creating the life I want to go meet cool people, stack some
Yeah.
cash, learn,
Yeah.
do a bit of traveling, you know, create with my best mate.
Meet cool people.
You know, all
Like
that sort of
fucking-
stuff is the investment
yeah,
now,
bro.
Powerful.
and it
Yeah.
pays off, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's just getting yourself out of that lane of poor me, or poor
Yeah.
my mum and dad, and or my ex-boyfriend or my ex-girlfriend or whatever. Okay, let's tip that fuel into this lane and
Yeah.
let's create a
And-
warrior.
And let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
Well, boys, this is the longest we've ever gone.
Yes.
And you know what? But this is the thing.
Yeah.
So as I do these podcasts, I look at where can I get better? And I used to go to myself, could I ever do it? You know, like I always look at like further ahead.
Yeah.
And so this was really easy. So we've done an hour 23 now. This was actually easy. And I go, fuck, I've got more in the tank.
Yeah.
But we're gonna
And I
do a
said that to
part
you
two.
from the
But like
start. We'll do a part two.
We're gonna do a part two
Well, it's the
because
same.
I'm gonna promote your stuff too because I honestly believe in you guys and I feel like when you give back and you help people, you know, everything comes back in life. I think everything happens for a reason.
You
live
I was
better.
just talking to my team before, and they go, "Fuck, that name's taken." They go, "Fuck, that was a mad name." And I go, "Don't worry,
We'll
it's
find
for a
something.
reason." I go,
Yeah.
"It's going to happen." You know what I mean? And so, you know, you talk about God and believing and having the faith. You talk about the Polynesians. You know, with the Lost Boys, I can feel
We
all
feel it too,
of
bro.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's
I can
meaning
feel all
to
of that.
it, and
But I've seen your plan, and the people you got behind it.
Yeah.
And you know, now it's just like it's just you
Create
put
it.
work in,
Yeah.
and it's going to happen.
And before we finish, like with the training area we're going to have in this place, like all the ex-footy players that have retired the last 2, 3, 4 years, like we want to have that locker room
Look,
pit
yeah.
back, like
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we're fucking,
Yeah.
Man,
it's
right.
on, you know, like we're training
Yeah.
like gorillas, like we're in there
Yeah.
on the assault bikes,
Yeah.
lifting shit,
Shirts
we're
off if you
encouraging,
want.
yeah, ready.
Not
We
me
got
yet.
DMX
I
on.
still got a bit of
Bro,
work
we
to
got
do.
DMX on, fucking just
Yeah,
hammering. Like
yeah.
we want to build that. Like
Love
you get
that,
in
bro.
there,
Yeah. And talk about your shit.
yeah.
Fuck.
Fucking talk about your shit because you
100%.
can like this.
Yeah, bro, I love it.
We
Yeah,
can all
bro.
learn
Fuck
from
yeah.
each
The
other.
gorilla
Yeah,
pit.
100%, man.
Yeah, bro, it's
So
on. It's
it's
on.
exciting.
Yeah.
No, this is it's inspiring to hear like that because it excites me because I go, fuck, man, you know, I want to be able to help these guys. You know, eventually, hopefully, we
You
do
already
some
are.
collabs.
Yeah, bro,
you know,
100%.
and more, man. You know, like
it's all there.
like I'm pumped, bro.
Like I said, we're going to definitely lean on you with everything you've created. Like even today, we thank you for having us on here. This is
No,
the first
mate,
time
we
we've done it
appreciate it a
together.
lot.
So
Have you done a podcast before?
I've done,
You've been on
I'm
others?
Trent Merirn, man.
No. Yeah, but you've been on a fair few.
Yeah, I've been on a few.
What's this one been like?
It's
Be
been,
honest.
mate,
Don't
to be
bullshit,
honest,
bro.
No,
Don't fucking just.
you know,
Because you're from
straight shooter.
Mascot and fucking
Mate,
Sydenham and.
These are the
teddy
best
bear.
ones.
Yeah.
Where you can have just a conversation
Yeah.
and like-minded,
You're just
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
flow.
right?
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
sit here for, as I said, I
yeah,
could
yeah.
lock in.
chat. Like,
Yeah.
the biggest thing is it's hard when you're just talking footy straight up.
Yeah.
You're just going fucking. I've done that.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about footy.
I can give you.
Yeah.
I can only give you so much.
Yeah.
But when you have like-minded people that think differently
Yeah.
and have been through shit and created shit
Yeah.
and have had fucking adversity and
Yeah.
you can speak for fucking 3 hours because
Yeah.
we can go in all sorts of different directions.
Yeah.
And honestly, this would be definitely up there with this would. I'm going to give you the route. This would
Okay.
be the best one I've been on.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, but because for me, it's like, what did you go through, man? What are you going through? How can we learn from this? What can the viewers learn from this?
It's all
Because
give
like,
back.
the reason like I do a lot of rugby league players and it's going to go into business and all sorts of other areas is, I just want to know what challenges you went through.
Yeah, bro.
How did you get through that?
Well,
how did you
that's how you
overcome
learn.
that?
That's where you
So
learn.
that way people can
Even-
watch it.
Even the next time, bro, like we can talk. I'll come on and talk about teenage years, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You know, like really go in on what it's like to be a teenager who's
Go down the
feels,
rabbit hole.
you know, but feels
Yeah.
alone, bro.
Yeah.
Like that. Finishes school on Friday,
Yeah.
rides his bikes to his mates, and then doesn't come home till Sunday because he just wants to go get lost.
Yeah.
You know, like not feeling safe. Like
Yeah.
I can speak at those stories because
Yeah.
that's how I felt at that time. That's how I was living my life
Yeah.
at that time, and I got no doubt. I used to work with these young people.
Yeah. And you know,
They
as
feel
we
the
get
same.
closer to your Jim Open and Shalaba,
Mhm.
we might do another one and talk about that
Yeah,
because I
bro.
want to talk about the evolution of how this is building to the next phase.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
Because like, you know,
Well,
watching
like I
that
said,
and
we're here.
yeah.
We're here every week. We're going to
yeah,
be
bro,
here every
and
week.
train, yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
So
Can we
Mate.
train in here?
Fucking oath, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's in shape
Appreciate
now.
it,
He's been
bro.
dieting for a few
Yeah,
weeks.
bro.
Mate,
Well, that's the
no,
thing.
you
My
know what it
confidence-
is. You
see,
know
my
what it
confidence
is.
is back.
He started a few weeks before me.
Did he?
Right?
Fucking hell.
So he likes to fucking.
He likes to flex
Yeah,
it.
he likes to rub it in.
Well, I do. Yeah, I get home
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like,
good, bro.
drop 5 kilos. But then, mate, it was. You know, it's the most humbling thing when you wake up and you do that,
You
and I'm
can
like,
feel- yeah,
"Whoa, all right, you bit fat, Jakey. Let's
Yeah,
let's
let's
fucking
fucking
get
do
the
some
let's get the
Fucking
go
love
on.
it, bro. Love it.
But you need it too.
Yeah,
You
You
need
need to have a little bit of
there's
fucking.
there's nothing better than giving yourself self confidence, but when you can hammer yourself as well,
100%.
Yeah, enough's enough. Let's
You've got to
fucking
be
get
able
in
to do
there.
that.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's
have to.
All right, boys. Thank
the
you.
balance.
brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, huh?
Nice, bro.
Appreciate it.
That's awesome.